The loss of power and comfort as we know it just goes with the territory when a hurricane strikes. For many thousands, it can be days, weeks, it can be longer in the uncomfortable and dangerous aftermath. People can be overcome with heat. They may lack food and medical care. But there is a way around that, apparently, and Kara St. Cyr reports that the founder of Feed the Second Line, a New Orleans nonprofit, has a plan for hurricane hubs that will bring relief.
A hurricane's devastation goes beyond the flood surges and the wind gusts. Its impact can last days or even weeks after the initial event. Hurricane Ida's impact was felt for weeks after she made landfall. Lisa Nelson was one of the many left to pick up the pieces the storm left behind.
I decided to evacuate with my kids, and the grid was down in our area for 10 days. So we were out in Houston. It took us about almost 18 hours to get there. And then, we had to find hotels. It was stressful there, but if we had stayed here, it would have been more stressful, being that you couldn't find gasoline. There was no power. There was people were just struggling just to find basic necessities. So it was a good choice that I decided to take, evacuated.
Nelson is the owner of Queen Trini Lisa, a Caribbean restaurant nestled in the heart of a mid-city neighborhood in New Orleans. She watched her neighbors struggle after losing power for days.
When you came back, you were faced with people in some areas still didn't have power, and just getting food was really hard.
Nelson's story is a familiar one. More than 1 million homes lost power in Louisiana during Hurricane Ida. In some places, residents didn't see power restored for days. Others didn't see it for weeks. Devin DeWolf noticed that the problem seemed to affect the same people each time a storm hit. DeWolf came up with an idea for a safe haven of electricity when neighborhood power lines go down. His solution? Microgrids set up at local hubs.
So a microgrid is basically solar panels and batteries. And so the solar panels charge the battery, and if you have them on your house or a restaurant, then when the entire city's power goes out, you're your own grid because you have the batteries and the panels. The battery is the key, because without the battery, solar panels are just decoration when the power goes out. And so the immediate needs of the neighborhood is going to be cell phone charging, water, ice, cooling, and food. And we can actually do that all here.
By here, Devin means Queen Trini Lisa. You see, Nelson's restaurant is the perfect place for a hub. She's dead center of her neighborhood, and people around could easily access her. That's why she's the very first person to get a solar panel installed in her restaurant, courtesy of Devin's nonprofit organization, Feed the Second Line.
For the people that live, within 4 blocks of us, of this restaurant, they could easily walk here. And that's going to be enough support for them for the week after a hurricane. And what I saw with Ida is, elderly people sitting in the shade in 100-degree heat, not getting anything. No support, no services. So this is a way that instead of trying to build these big giant centers for people to go to, it's a block by block approach. And that, I think, is really important because so often you have outsiders that will come into a community to save them. And what happens is you don't know who's really medically vulnerable. You don't know that guy is just grumpy, but he's really nice, but he's grumpy. And all of that knowledge, that local knowledge, I think is really important to actually take care of the people that need more support.
But how does one go about this type of project? What do you need to get this done?
Well, it's a great opportunity to create jobs.
And with Feed the Second Line, we're trying to, like you said, create that safety net for our culture bearers of New Orleans. So with that being said, is taking the whole situation with the solar panels and giving them the opportunity to get that job training to actually learn to install those solar panels. So not only are we helping the environment, we're helping the culture as well.
Feed the Second Line raised about $93,000 from donors to get this project off the ground. But DeWolf's hope is to turn at least 300 restaurants into hurricane hubs like Nelson's.
And the reason we're so focused on that number is now this restaurant is saving money every month on their energy bill. So we can tell the restaurant, hey, we just gave you all this solar and battery stuff. It's really expensive, but we paid for it, the nonprofit, and now you're saving money every month. So pay it forward. And the restaurant will put $200 a month back into the program. So if we get 300 restaurants paying $200 a month, that is $60,000 a month. And what that does is that allows us to just keep going. Because if you think about South Louisiana, this is something that should be in every mom and pop restaurant, not just in New Orleans, but throughout the state.
Nelson's Place is just the start of what could be a self-sustaining city. She says she's proud to take on the role.
Nobody wants the next hurricane or want to be in a situation, but in case we do, there's someone that they can come. There's somewhere that they know they can come to.
The hurricane hubs are early in the planning stages, but DeWolf believes they're the future of hurricane relief. There's a link on our website, lpb.org, for Feed the Second Line.